What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. And this is where we at. So, of course, this past election season and things like that, um, a, a lot of things were brought to the light, and Black people have been doing their due diligence for quite some time with voting for Democrats. And it proved it in this election, with the 90%, things like that. But listen, look, this lady right here has something to say, and I think we ought to listen to her. Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Do you ever wonder why Black people are the only demographic that votes 90% for the Democratic Party for the last 70 plus years and still haven't been able to achieve the things that they need to achieve in terms of uh, their neighborhood schools, especially in heavily Democratic areas like DC, Chicago, Detroit, heavily Democratic areas that have the lowest economic opportunities. The education system is crap. Neighborhoods are impoverished. And yet we still continue to vote 90% more, very faithfully for the last 70 years for the Democratic Party and not get anything out of it. No other demographic is doing this. Not Hispanics, not no one. No one. We are. At some point, you got to connect the dots. You see, there is no leverage in voting for the same party every election year after year after year. There's no leverage. It gets to the point where the Democratic Party doesn't even have to put anything on the table to get your vote.
And that's what we seen this past election when they tried to come out and, at the very tail end of the election, they, came with all these things, especially once they, figured out that it was a certain majority of Black men that were going to not vote for them or use the couch, whatever. And they tried to come out and it's like, well, we're just going to give you, these so-called loans or grants or whatever, things like that, where you could, have this little tidbit of money. And, you had Obama come out, talk out the side of his neck. And it just was a whole crap show of the Democratic Party just talking out of the side of their neck to definitely to Black men, because let's just keep it real. They already knew that they had the Black woman's vote, and it was just not acceptable to in at this point. Most Black men had enough, and the thing of this is, by the majority of Black men, of course, we're not just necessarily leading the Black community like we once was. And Black women have given their complete allegiance to the Democratic Party. It's just, it is what it is at this point. And we haven't had any type of tangible things from voting for the Democratic Party since we left the Republican Party, you know, almost a century ago. So it just is what it is.
And they're always dangling reparations as a carrot, in spite of the fact that at some point they've had control of the executive branch, the legislative branch, everything, and still not able to get reparations passed.
Right.
Ask yourself why? Why? When they were able to control all levels of government, still can't put reparations in and pass it. You either know the game or you don't. You either know how to play the game or you don't. You either know how to discern when you're being played or you don't. The fact of the matter is there'll never be a reparations bill, partly because the issue in and of itself is the game plan for the Democratic Party. It is a perpetual issue, and they want to keep it a perpetual issue to get into office. This is among other things that they do to dangle ridiculous things like DEI. And yet, most Black people aren't even benefiting from that. DEI is really benefiting every other so called marginalized group except Black people. but Black people are the face of DEI.
And we've been the face of everything for quite some time in this country, for a long time, and that's been our issue. We've been the face and the bodies and the sacrificing lambs and things like that for a long time in this country to, you know, get rights, or, you know, to get rights, certain rights put in place, and things that, you know, that we, you know, we needed to. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, we we got a couple of things, but that's been a long time ago. That's been a long time ago. We haven't really gotten anything within the past 50 years that's actually, you know, been beneficial to our community and things like that, off our votes from the Democratic Party and things like that. They just taking us for granted. And these are the facts.
And you got to wonder why. Connect the dots already. You're a convenient scapegoat. Black people are convenient. I mean, we get a lot of things done in our community, and that's why we're used so much by the Democratic Party. And there's no point listening to people, pundits, and, you know, the Al Sharptons of the world, the Congress people, Maxine Waters. Look at each and every one of their districts, like Maxine Waters, Jasmine Crockett, all these upcoming new so-called, you know, up and coming Congress people and senators. Look into their districts and see how they look. And tell me, are they in it to help their community, or are they in there just to make a lot of money, like Maxine Waters?
I had to let her get it out because, yeah, Maxine been raking up the dough for decades now. And the reason why everybody's upset now with the Doge situation is because, you know what I'm saying, the money spout is about to get cut off. These are just facts. These are facts. And it's a huge problem when you accept a position in our government and stuff like that, Congress, Senate, whatever, and you only get paid a certain amount of money per year. And by the time you leave office, you're like a multi-millionaire or some shit like that off of 100, maybe 200,000 a year, 300,000 a year, something like that. That's impossible to, you know, become that way off that little amount of money, you know, per year. And you have to sit around and you have to think these things through, and you have to wonder how these people raking in all this, you know, excess amount of money and things. And yeah, but their districts, like she said, are completely trashed. The school systems are horrible. The streets are, you know, paved with potholes out here, and it's just it's an ongoing, you know, process of destruction that's going on within the Black communities all across America. With, you know, when we have these so-called representatives in these, you know, high-ranking positions.
For the last 40 years, this woman has been in office, and her district looks like crap. Don't take my word for it. Just go on there and look. For those who come from her district, take a look around and scan your own community and tell me if I'm lying. These people are in office because they're getting paid. They're getting paid to corral Black people to vote for the Democratic Party.
Right.
I don't know how else to explain it. You either know it or you don't. You either see it or you don't. I mean, aren't you getting tired of being used? Don't you understand how to leverage your power? You use both parties to get the things that you want. You don't just blindly vote for the same party every election cycle and expect some kind of change.
Right.
So what's the French toast is there to think about?
Well said. And that's what's been going on for the longest and things like that. And that's our issue within the Black community, the Black African-American community and things like that. We've been doing that for quite some time. A lot of us have also, you know, definitely with this election here have, you know, left that type of mindset, that type of, you know, slavery, you know, thinking and stuff like that, which we all know, low key, the Democratic Party was the party of slavery and other things. And and you could throw in a few K's on top of that if you get what I'm saying. Listen, look, it just is what it is at this point. A lot of black people still have not woken up and understand what's been going on. They're still on the mental slave plantation, and it's an issue because we cannot prosper in the black community if we're all divided and not on one accord and have some type of substance within the community, some type of morals and rules and guidelines that we're going to go by as a community to make our community better, morally, spiritually, and financially as well. And this is just where we at. A community divided cannot prosper, and it never will. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.